What's up, everyone? Welcome into episode number 545, or it is my honor and privilege to introduce a special guest joining this episode, and that is Adrian runner Ryan Morris. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Really appreciate you joining. I know you just got done with a meet yesterday. How did things go? I know you said they went all right, ran a 440, which in my opinion, incredible. I would love to run a 440 in my lifetime, but how did things go? Were you pretty happy with it? And just how does it feel to kind of get back into competing a little bit?
It went okay. Like you said, 440. Had a quad strain. I've been dealing with that for the past month. So this is my first like meet back and kind of getting back to full strength. So
Okay.
we weren't really ripping it fully. We were kind of just trying to see if I can make it through the race. So I'm happy that everything went well, and I'm happy that we got through the whole situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sure, obviously, like you said, you're happy to get through it, but also there has to be a little like relief as well, knowing that, hey, I can run this time, even if I'm not necessarily 100%. This is my first meet coming back.
hmm
Yeah, no, absolutely. Did you kind of miss running a little bit? Like, was it something that like you kind of like itching to get back, or was it more of hey, like I'm just eventually going to have to get back to this point?
It's something that I really miss. I really love racing. Like that's kind of why I love running so much is the competing aspect. So not being able to compete for a while was really I was really bummed out about it. So yeah, I was extremely happy to just kind of be back in the environment of racing again. I really missed it a lot.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of not only like a physical like element to obviously running, but there's a little bit of like competitiveness, little like mental kind of edge as well. Like it's a little bit kind of like a game of chess. And I know this is something that you and I talked about prior to recording. It's a little bit of a game of chess because you don't want to go out too fast, but you also don't want to go out too slow. You also want to make sure you're kicking at the right time. And that's truly what distance is about, is making sure making the right moves at the right time. Did it take a little bit of time to kind of get into that a little bit, or is it more of kind of like once it's kind of like a riding a bike. Once you kind of get going, you fully understand like, hey, this is what I need to do in this spot.
Yeah, I think in that aspect, it's kind of just like riding a bike. Like you kind of just get onto it. But you know what you're gonna do. You know your race plan. You know
Yeah.
how you need to really achieve that time. And I like to say that it's a building block of you start your race, you know what you're doing. In the middle of the race, you kind of got to hold on, and at the end of the race, you just build off that.
Yeah.
So I think it's really easy to just kind of know what I'm doing.
And how many times, like percentage, does your race like actually go as planned? Like, is it like, are you pretty like accurate with it now, kind of doing it as long as you have? Or is it more of like you're kind of used to it, where like if it doesn't go as planned, you're like, this is natural. And if it does, you're like, wow, that actually worked.
I would say it's about 50-50 because like
Okay.
it's really based on the field. Because if you're in a fast heat and you
Yeah.
know you got to go compete, like you have to go with that heat. Like if you
Yeah.
want to start off slower, but the heat goes out faster, you have to go with them. So I would say it's about 50-50 shot.
What about the meet yesterday? Did you really have a plan going to it? Was it truly more like you said, like just trying to figure out, like, hey, can I get to this point? Can I be competitive?
I think it was more of just can I be competitive? I wasn't really worrying about my time or like where I was placing. It was just I
Okay.
want to see if I can go out there and compete with those guys because it was a really fast meet yesterday. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure you'll probably eventually get back to the point of like having kind of a plan, wanting to compete with them. You just are kind of at the beginning of coming back from a little bit of a strain that you don't want to obviously push it too much so that you don't miss more time.
yeah.
So let's kind of talk a little bit more about obviously Adrian. But before we get into Adrian, I do want to kind of pick your brain a little bit. Like, how does someone get into running? Like, how does someone decide, hey, I want to run distance in track and be a distance runner? And was it something that like you always were, or did you kind of start out as a little bit of a sprinter mid distance?
I've been distance since first grade. I've been running since first grade. My dad was a distance runner, so I kind of just picked up where he left off. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. Every distance runner has that dream of being a sprinter, but you know you just don't have that speed. So eventually that dream dies, and you just kind of accept where you already are.
You said every distance runner has that dream. Have you tried it? Have you ever gave it a go, try, and maybe not kind of break your dreams a little bit?
I've tried the 4x2. I tried to get on the 200s, the 4x2s, and then I got destroyed. So I just kind of realized I don't have that leg speed. I just can't keep up with those kids.
It's a different type of race, right? Like there's like you obviously as a distance runner, you're gonna have a little bit maybe more endurance. Like you have to have endurance and kind of a sprinter, you're gonna have a lot of power, right? And I'm not saying distance runners don't have a lot of power. They obviously do. Like you still need a lot of power, especially on that last kick towards probably like the last 100 or something like that. If you don't have that, you're probably gonna lose. But it's just a different level of kind of like feel from a distance runner to a sprinter.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say everyone has that power, like you said, but I feel like there's levels to it. Like I use my
Yeah,
power in a different way, where a sprinter is just, I'm going to use this power 100% of the time for as fast as I can possibly go. So,
exactly. And I know you said your dad was a distance runner. Do you feel like it's kind of in the family a little bit, like you were
oh,
kind of meant to be a distance runner?
yeah, absolutely. He always tells me ever since my first practice, he knew that I was a distance runner and that I was just subjected to this life of pain. But no, my dad's a distance runner. My aunt runs marathons. My brothers were runners, so just my whole family.
What is it like being a part of a family full of runners? Because I'm imagining like your family like doing like a turkey trot, like doing like a half marathon turkey trot the morning of Thanksgiving. I'm like, that sounds awful to me. I just want to eat food all day, but there's some people that just have that type of family.
It's definitely a lot of turkey trots. Yeah, I've done a lot
Okay.
of turkey trots in my day. But my dad always says that it feels better when you're eating the food later because you know that you
Yeah,
worked
true.
for it. So,
Yeah, no, but it's obviously a really good thing. Like, there's so much that truly comes with running. There's obviously a lot of health benefits to it, but there's also a lot of like the other side. Like, you can get injured from it, and it's obviously not easy. And like you specifically mentioned, like, it can't always be fun. Like, how do you find enjoyment to just continue to run? Is it like, do you get like a runner's high? Is it truly, really after kind of running your events? I know you said competition is a big thing of like that you enjoy, but is it like the feeling afterwards truly makes kind of the running distance worth it for you?
yeah, I would say that like you said, runner's high, that's definitely a really big thing that some people don't believe, but the adrenaline you get from running is insane. And
Yeah,
I might like chase it, like that dopamine rush, but
yeah.
I say the thing that keeps me going, like, is just knowing that you can always get better, you can always improve, and that running is like it's like a sliding scale of some days suck, some days are awesome. So you just kind of you got to find where you are on that scale.
And sometimes you just need to embrace the suck, right? Like you just have to realize
Absolutely.
like, hey, this day is going to be not fun, but what this is doing is helping me prepare for that next meet, helping me prepare for that next practice, making me faster, making it a little bit easier in my future.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you did mention that you started running distance first grade. When did you kind of realize one yourself that like, hey, like distance is kind of for me? And two, when did you realize that like, hey, this wasn't just going to be like track in high school. This wasn't just going to be cross country in high school. This was going to be much more. This was going to be something that you'd do in college.
I would say it's probably around my junior year in high school that I kind of figured it out. Like I enjoyed running until that point, but it wasn't really until I would say I enjoyed this hardship. I missed states by like 2 seconds my junior year. And
Yeah.
at that moment, I kind of decided like, I'm never doing this ever again. I'm going to
Okay.
achieve this. And then from that point on, I just kind of was like, I want to see how good I can really get. And then college was just always in the cards for me.
What do you think is the reason why sometimes failure brings out like the most competitive part of athletes? Because for some people, like you said, you missed states by 2 seconds, right? Some people would say that and say, hey, I have one last chance. Or some people might say, hey, it's just not meant to be in the cards. But for you, it was complete opposite. It was like the moment where you're like, okay, like I missed this, but I'm never going to have this feeling again. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be able to do this in college.
Yeah. It was just kind of like, I guess when you hit rock bottom like that, the only way to go is up. that was always my mentality. There was like a quote I really liked. So in that moment, it was like, all right, well, I'm sad and I'm frustrated right now, but how can I use this to get better?
Yeah. Do you think that's kind of the difference between athletes that just do it in high school compared to athletes that also do it in college? Obviously, you need to be really talented to perform in college, but do you think that kind of mindset is a big kind of like difference between people that just do their sport in college compared to like people that go beyond and continue their sport in college? Because you have to love it. You kind of have to have that type of mindset.
I think absolutely. I think there's always that like you have that physical ability, but
Yeah.
the mental ability is what really takes you farther. So I think everyone who is in college or competes in college understands that of you kind of embrace the grind, I
Yeah.
would like to say.
Yeah, because you have to like it, right? Like you obviously spend so much more time trying to prepare for obviously college. Once you're in college, you're spending a ton of time at practice, meets, stuff like that. But you mentioned your junior year was kind of the moment that like it hit you like, hey, I can do this beyond high school. When did Adrian come into that kind of situation? Were there other schools that you're really considering, other schools that you were interested in, or was it truly kind of like the MIAA Adrian was kind of the path for you that you kind of realized later on when you were going through your recruiting process?
Well, actually, out of high school, I went to a JUCO called
Okay.
Schoolcraft College. So I went there for 1 year, and then I chose Adrian mostly because one of my good friends, Ethan Ricarian, goes here, and
Okay.
I enjoyed competing. We always competed against each other in high school, so I really enjoyed competing against him. And when I saw the opportunity to like com be on his team and not compete against him and kind of have that every day around him, I was like, man, this is gonna be really fun because I enjoy just like the rivalry our schools
Yeah.
kind of had. So my thought was like, man, it'd be really cool if we could be on the same team. So that's kind of what brought me here.
Okay.
And then I really enjoy it here. It's a great school.
Was it weird at first being on the same team as him because you were competing against him all these years and now you're like, hey, we're finally representing the same school?
It was really weird. I think we kind of talked about it when I first got here of kind of how like, wow, how far have we come? But it definitely took some getting used to seeing us in the same colors.
But it's one of those things where like sometimes like quote unquote against your rival school, you specifically kind of get to know an athlete from the other school and there's a little bit of kind of like a rivalry, but not really. There's kind of like a mutual respect and you become friends through it. But then when it becomes an opportunity to be on the same team, it's almost like unusual. It's like you're like, this just doesn't feel right, but like you're friends, you've been friends with him for a long time.
Yeah, you kind of forget that you were on opposite teams because obviously you're competing, but like I feel like at the college level, it's more of like especially for track, there's no team scores. So it's
Yeah.
just you're running for you. So I think in track, it didn't take us a lot of getting used to. It was just like, all right, we're both just running for us at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're both basically, like you said, running for yourselves, but you're also wearing the same school colors representing Adrian. And at the end of the day, like you want both each other to perform well, which obviously prior, like you wanted to probably perform well yourself. You probably wanted him to perform well, but you just wanted to perform slightly a little bit better. I'm sure there's a little bit of that competitiveness still between you guys now. You still obviously want to get the little bit better of him, but now it's on the same side.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a little bit different because we kind of don't run the same events.
Yeah.
I'll give another shout out to my friend Gavin Shelton. He also went to Ricarian School. He was like
Okay.
my big rival, and we run the same events. So I would say me and Gavin definitely understand that little rivalry, but like wanting each other to do better.
Yeah, because you obviously want to try to beat your quote unquote rival when they're at their best. You don't want to beat them when they're not performing well.
Oh, absolutely.
So obviously you kind of started your college athletic background at Schoolcraft. How different is it competing at a JUCO school compared to competing at a school like Adrian?
It was completely different because Schoolcraft, that was like the first year of their program, and it was me and one other dude, and great program by Tobin Allen Jones, really nice guy. But it was just me and another dude, and it was just I came from a big team, going down to a small team is really weird.
Yeah.
But I really, that's what I like about Adrian, that we have a pretty big team here, very close team. So it's like you kind of get that like homegrown feel when you come here.
Was it pretty cool kind of being a part of a program starting for the first year though? Because you're kind of the one that are setting the expectations for the future.
It was really cool. It was just kind of knowing that like we were the ones kind of paving the road for like newer athletes that are going to come in and eventually go to that school. So it was we had a
Yeah.
little bit of pride on our shoulders because like in our first year we both went to nationals for JUCO, me and my teammate.
Okay. That's
So it was
awesome.
really yeah, it was really cool just to be like we are the stepping stones.
Yeah. And obviously, with a first year program, did you kind of have to teach yourself a little bit of kind of like what it's like to be a college athlete? Because it's different, right? You have obviously things called like recovery. Obviously, recovery is important in high school, but there's a little bit more that comes with being a college athlete at a JUCO level when you don't necessarily have all the funding, but then you're also going up against the better athletes that ran in high school.
Yeah, I would say that it's like we had to learn a little bit, but I will give credit to our coach. He kind of taught us a lot. He really helped me like understand how to be a college athlete, how to balance the work life kind of
Yeah.
vibe of it. But yeah, I don't know. Schoolcraft has really good facilities. They have really good like management, I would say. They're really supportive of their athletes, so that was really
Good.
helpful.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, made the kind of the transition a little bit easier having that support, having that understanding, and obviously ending up at Adrian, having that full team kind of again having to get to know new teammates, but at the same time, like it's running, right? Like it's the same events. Like you're going to be facing different competition, but obviously you can take away what you've done in the past, what you did at Schoolcraft, and really kind of transition it to what you started at doing at Adrian.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So, talk a little bit about kind of racing a little bit. What kind of like mentally do you do physically? Like, how do you kind of get ready for your events? Because you obviously have to be prepared to do well, to do well.
A lot of it is like going into warm up. So for me, I do a 2 mile warm up and then I do my stretching routine. I usually have my music in and then kind of like stretching, rolling, just making sure that the body's like kind of feeling loose, feeling like we can go fast is what I like to
Yeah.
say.
What's your go-to music? Like, what are you listening to prior to a race?
It's really weird, I will admit, but when I'm stretching, I listen to a lot of classical music like Mozart, Beethoven. Like I listen to
Okay.
that when I'm stretching. Just kind of like I feel like it calms my nerves, kind of calms my mind. Just but before the race, before I'm stretching, I usually got some rap in. Usually Kendrick Lamar. That's one I'm big
Okay.
on.
Okay, awesome. Do you think if your coach ever gave you the aux for a practice, do you think your teammates would like what you're hearing, or do you think they would be like, let's maybe try someone else with the aux?
I think 50-50. I think I'll
50-50?
get about 50-50 approval. I don't know how we practice in the same facility as the sprinters. I'll probably play a lot of rock music. I don't know if the sprinters would like that. But I think
Okay.
I think my distance guys would rock with it.
Yeah, because again, like you obviously like when you're running kind of distance, you have to obviously push yourself, but you also at a point you really can't like panic because if you panic, it's not going to go well, and you obviously have to make
Hmm.
sure you have like the right kind of like mentality, the right kind of like approach throughout the race, and if things just don't go well, you kind of just have to stay calm, and it kind of makes sense why like Mozart and kind of that slower classical music, like that's just kind of what you have to be mentally and physically to perform well, and you're still doing it at a 440 pace, which to me is insane. And I don't know how like you can stay calm doing that, but like you gotta have to have that type of mindset and approach.
Yeah, it's kind of like a flow. The way I've seen it, or the way I can describe it, is like you're kind of flowing, where it's like I'd say like a river. You're kind of
Yeah,
just like going throughout the motions throughout the race, especially if you're doing something like a 3K, 5K.
yeah.
You're just kind of trying to ride that flow throughout the whole entire race.
Running, you
Hmm.
kind of start.
Hmm.
Is that different though when it comes to certain events? Because obviously I know that you run certain events. I know you've run like the 3K. I know you run steeplechase. I know you run the mile. How different are those events when you talk about kind of the mental like approach when it comes to like in the race? Because steeplechase is obviously quite a bit different than running like a mile, 3K, 5K. Like that's just different. Like how different do you kind of have to be throughout those events, or is it still kind of that flow state that you have to truly be in as a distance event runner?
I would say the mile is probably the most different because that's the probably the most aggressive one where you're
Okay.
really there is no break. There is no moment of peace. It is you are going all out for this entire mile. You have to be on your game the entire time. You can't really sit back and kind of watch. Maybe the 5K you can do that. Steeplechase is the same thing of like it's constant simulation is what I like to call it because every 100 meters or 50 meters you're jumping a steep. Well, you got
Yeah.
to stay awake. You got to stay aware. You got to stay aware of the people around you. Like my last conference race, we were coming in the last lap and a guy fell right next to me. I can't go and just look at him. I got to stay focused on my race.
Yeah. How fun is the steeplechase? Because I'm watching and I'm like it looks super fun, but at the same time I would be scared to accidentally like hit the top of the steeple and my foot doesn't get over it, and then you just next thing you know you just see someone just completely biff it.
Um, it's fun. I enjoy it a lot just because, like I said, that constant stimulus, like you're constantly in it. There is no break. So I enjoy it a lot. I think it's a really fun event. It's a really hard event. It's definitely taxing on the body, but it is everyone that does it, I feel like we all kind of have this mutual respect of like, man, this
Yeah.
kind of sucks, but we're having a good time.
What was it like the first time you ever did steeplechase or tried it? Like, what was that kind of like quote unquote welcome to college moment when it comes to steeplechase?
Mine sucked. I was at Hillsdale and it was 25 degrees and pouring down rain and it was cold and rainy and it was just not a fun time, but I raced pretty well. And from that moment, I was like, man, this is a great event.
Interesting. Not necessarily the best elements for that race, but it's one of those things that you probably will remember for the rest of your life.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I remember that race. To this day, I still think about how much of like before the race, I was terrified to go step on that track.
Exactly, but obviously you got through it. Obviously, it's an event that you love. Would you say steeplechase is your favorite event you currently do, or like what's your favorite event? Like if you had to list your favorite to your least favorite events to run that you do, what would that list be?
Steeplechase is definitely one. I really enjoy that. I would say if we want to like make a list, I'll go steeplechase at first, probably the 1500 at second, and then 3K mile. So it's between steeplechase and the 15.
Okay, respect that. I love that. Probably the hardest event is your favorite event, but that's just kind of like how you're like growing up, right? Like you've grown up
Hmm.
kind of doing really hard distance events, and it's almost like if you're doing an easy event, it probably feels weird for you. Like you probably feel like you kind of have to be pushed a little bit.
Yeah, I can't do a 400. I've done it before, but the 400 is definitely tough. I don't want to ripe on any 400-meter runners. They have, in my opinion, one of the hardest jobs in track. But to me, it's like, all right, you're just running a lap. Like, I know it sucks. It's tough. It hurts the legs. You hit that lactic acid at like 300, 200 meters, but sometimes it's just a little boring.
It's one of those things like the 400 is kind of a weird event because it's like a full-on sprint, but like it's not, but like it's kind of like a middle. Like I know it's kind of like not a mid-distance event by any means, but it's just a full-on sprint. I love obviously like the 4x4 relay stuff like that. Like those relays are so fun to watch, honestly.
Yeah, I think the 400 is like, it's really fun. It can be if you really enjoy it, but it definitely is a sprint. Like, especially in the college level, that is a sprint. That is
Yeah,
100%. Like, sure, some mid-D guys will try it, but usually you have your 400-meter sprinters who just kill it.
absolutely. How do you think it would go at a meet if there was a mile relay where it was just four total miles? Do you think that would be fun? Do you think that would be competitive, or do you think people would kind of be like, let's do it one time and never do this again?
I think people would get really bored of watching it. I think miles are fun. Like they're fun to watch at one specific time. I think watching four people run a mile relay, I would get really.
Would you want to be a part of that relay though?
Yeah, I absolutely would. I think it'd be fun, but if I'm watching it, I think I would be like, man, can we just get this on with?
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of fun, what's been the most memorable fun race you've been a part of? Like, what's like one specific race, one specific event that you're like, that's something I'm proud of to this day?
I think I have two. I think my conference steeplechase, because it was also raining and it was just, there was an electric crowd. A lot of my teammates liked that race. That race was just fun to be in. And then my second one was my senior year 4x4 at a
Okay.
relay. It just like, it was kind of like under the lights and like the energy just, it was just so much fun.
What is up with you and rain and steeplechase and having fun? It doesn't make
I don't,
sense to me.
I race really well in the rain. Like I've always kind of done better in the elements. So maybe I just got that little, like little crazy switch in me.
So, would you rather prefer to run outside outdoor season compared to indoor then?
I hate running inside. I don't run on
Really?
treadmills. I don't run. I'll run like on our indoor track for workouts, but if I'm doing mileage, I'm outside. I hate treadmills. I need to be in the elements. I need to be getting that, just outside energy.
Do you run outside like now? Like, would you run outside in the snow? Like, because there's some people that love running in this type of weather, and like I never try or I don't necessarily enjoy running in the snow, but I also don't enjoy running the treadmill either. So that's just me.
Um, I run outside every day, no matter what. Um,
Respect.
the only times I won't, if it's like -15 and my coach is like, hey, we should probably be inside today. But any other time I'm out in the elements, like we'll run through, like I said, my friend Gavin, he takes us on routes that we'll run through shin deep snow. And it's just, we're having a good time, but obviously it sucks a little bit. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you'll be like, man, that was pretty fun.
But you're also doing it together with your teammates as well, and
Hmm.
you've obviously like track, cross country, you see like those teams like running together, especially like the distance runners, and like see them having conversations. Like that's just the cool thing about athletics. That's the cool thing about probably distance and kind of being a part of that as you're running together, and that's probably how you're able to form not only bonds but like form chemistry with each other and have those stories.
Yeah, I like to say these are definitely my band of brothers. We're all kind of in it together. We've all been in that hard workouts together. We've all been on easy runs together. So we all kind of understand what it takes to be here.
Exactly. At Adrian, I don't necessarily want you to get into like exactly like a whole practice because that might give away a little bit. But what's been the hardest practice you've ever had? Something that you're like, I have no idea how you made it through.
The hardest practice I would say is that we had a 10-mile progression run from 6:30 to 5:30. So it was a 2-mile warm up, 10-mile progression on a dirt road that was just a straight shot. So you're just running in a straight line for 5 miles, then coming back, and there was a 2-mile cool down, and it was 6 in the morning, dark, little rainy, just middle of nowhere, Adrian, and you're just in it. Like you can't escape it. You just know you have to get through it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. That doesn't sound at all fun, especially that early in the morning. And it's just a straight shot down the road. Like it's almost like let's just get halfway, so then I know on the way back I'm almost done.
Yeah, but how they get you on the way back. You're going even faster.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like rainy or windy, like on the way back, if the wind is like right on your face, like that is just so much worse on the way back, especially when you don't have the wind going with you.
Yeah, it was not a fun morning. Did not have a good, well, I did well in it, but didn't have a good time.
Yeah, but like you said, like we said earlier, like there's going to be some days where you have a ton of fun. There's going to be some days it's just going to be a grind, and it's about truly getting through those days of a grind to get to those fun days, to get to the meets that truly make it all worth it.
Yeah.
So before we get into a little bit of like the more kind of positive at the end of the thing, I do want to ask you one more kind of negative or like bad like experience. Have you had like any like memorable races that you're like it just didn't go well? Like it was a really kind of like a learning experience that truly kind of helped you grow into the runner that you are currently.
Yeah, definitely that junior year regionals. It was mud, just complete mud to the shins, and it was a horrible race. Just didn't have the day, and it was just like I said in that moment, it was just like, wow, this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, but you found a way to once again enjoy it, and you're doing it right now, Adrian. You're doing very well, and it seems like you're loving being a part of the team.
Absolutely, this team is great. I do want to say one thing real quick. I think what I like most about this team is our leaders. I think our leaders here are great. Like I said, Ethan McCarron, he does a great job being a leader. Um, our coaches, Miles Kane and Connor Kolka, they're both just great, amazing leaders, and they'll really drive us to be better competitors.
Do you think the leaders and coaches make running at Adrian maybe different compared to other schools? I'm not saying it's bad other schools, but really truly what builds like the team, the chemistry, what makes running at Adrian unique.
I would say so. We also have Will Hoovner. He's also one of our captains. He's really fast, 5K. I think he has a 5K record. I can't remember. He has too many. But no, he's a really, really good guy. I think the leaders here definitely kind of drive us to be better every day in practice. You know, it's all about holding each other accountable. That's something we talk about a lot, is that nobody is above the captains. Well, not like that, but like nobody is above the law, kind
Yeah.
of.
Like there's certain like expectations, there's goals. Like there's not anyone that is better than the other person. Like you can maybe say
Mhm.
like they're faster, right? Like they perform better at meets, but it's all about being a team. It's all about being connected. It's all about coming together as a team and building off of each other, not trying to push each other over each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like that on both sides. So I can't just give a shout out to my cross country leaders. I got to give it to Pastor Kuzno. He's one of our fifth years here. He's on the sprint side. And on both sides, they do an amazing job of like making sure that everybody knows that we're all on the same team and that we're all kind of at the same level, no matter how we compete on the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's just kind of the definition of what a good culture, what a good chemistry, what a good team is you want
Mhm.
to push each other, you want to get better, but you don't feel like there's levels to it. Like you don't feel like you're down here when the other person's up there. Like it's about being together as a team, and that truly seems like it started out with coaching, started out with leadership, but then truly has gone down to everyone to truly buy in and saying like, hey, we're all a part of this. We all want each other to do well, but we'll push each other to do well, and we'll make sure that each other's held accountable. It's not just necessarily the captains holding everyone accountable besides them, it's probably you guys holding the captains accountable as well, and that's just kind of the relationship that you guys have at Adrian.
Yeah, absolutely. We always like to say iron sharpens iron. So
Yeah,
just going off of each other.
exactly. And being kind of part of a team like that is so close to have a good chemistry, a good culture. What has it meant to you to be a part of a team at Adrian like that? And truly, how has that shaped you into kind of the runner that you are, and how has Iron helped shape your iron?
I think it's helped a lot. I love this team. I love the school. But a lot of people will kind of look at us. Sure, we're not at the top of our conference, but we know that at the end of the day, we have some good guys here, or we like to call them, we have some dogs here.
Yeah.
Um, but we all kind of just know that like no matter what, we have good chemistry and like we're a good team no matter how it may look on the day.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you said we have some dogs on the team. Obviously, Adrian Bulldogs, and love that. But like, it's one of those things, like you said, like it's about getting better. It's about having
Mhm.
a connected team. It's about having fun. It's about making memories. And while, like you said, maybe not on a specific day, like you might not necessarily be the best team, but it's about making improvements and it's about building your way up. And it truly seems like that's something that you guys have been able to do very successfully at Age in the last couple of years.
Mhm.
So obviously, with you being a distance runner or any runner whatsoever, what's your go-to running shoes? Are you a pretty big shoe kind of guy? Do you like to collect shoes? Do you have a specific type of shoe? I feel like every runner kind of has an enjoyment of collecting or buying shoes. I think you kind of have to.
I, I really don't have like a collection, but I would
Okay.
say I'm really big into Hoka Clifton nines. Those are my easy
Okay.
day shoes. I've had those past like 4 years. I'm really big into Hoka. I think they're a really good shoe running brand for me. I have a very narrow foot, so I think that's for
Okay.
me. And then like on the faster shoes, I would say Nike. I'm
Okay.
always in a Nike Vaporfly.
Yeah.
So especially for like spikes, I've had Dragonflies for the last since like sophomore year of high school.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say I have Nike Vapors running shoes when I go running for my couple of miles. It's a little bit different than running 5, 6, probably 7 miles a day, but I truly do like Nike Vapors, and obviously like you want to feel comfortable in your shoes. You want to trust them, and that's just another part of the sport running.
Yeah, absolutely.
So outside of all the events that you run in track, if you could run any other track event, what would it be? Like if it could be like maybe you want to go back to kind of that sprinter in you a little bit. Doesn't matter how good you are, but like if you could choose one other event, what would it be?
I think it'd be high jump.
High jump.
One of my best friends, Ben Severson, he was a high jumper. My dad was also a high jumper. So before he went into distance, he was a high jumper. And so I think it'd be high jump. I think I would really enjoy that because I'm a tall person. So I was like, man, maybe I'll be good at it.
Have you ever tried a high jump?
I did, and I sucked at it. I was horrible. I did like 3 practices, and my dad was like, "This is just not it. We can't do that."
Was that a little bit heartbreaking for you that he's like, hey, it's not really it? Because I don't want to say like he ruined your dreams because there's no way of that whatsoever, but like you're like, I want to try high jump, I want to be a sprinter, and he's like, no, you're good at distance, let's run distance.
Well, yeah, it was mostly because my dad's been my coach since I
Yeah,
was got running. Like he's been my coach all throughout my life until I got here. He was just kind of like, "You're gonna waste your energy on this," and he's like,
yeah.
"I know what it takes to be a good high jumper, and you just don't have it." And I was like, "All right, well, I'll just go back to run the 2 mile."
Exactly. Because he's been your coach for so long, what has it meant to you to have him be a coach, to work so closely with you and kind of have his guidance, especially because, like you said, he did it in the past. Like he understands it a little bit, but he's also your dad, right? Like there's a little bit of like he's your coach, but he's also your dad. That has to be a unique relationship.
It was definitely unique, but I give him a lot of credit. But when I was little, he kind of put that line of when I'm at practice, I'm coach, and when I'm home, I'm dad.
Yeah,
So I really respected him for that. But I really enjoyed having him as a coach my entire life, and it was kind of really hard to go away from it. For like
yeah.
since first grade to 12th grade, it was I had dad being my coach. He was my number one supporter. So now to kind of like try to find someone who's like him in the coaching world was really hard. And I give my Coach Miles, my full credit of he really kind of clicked with me in that kind of sense.
Yeah, because you've had the same coach for the rest for your whole life, right? Like you don't
Hmm.
want to have a quote unquote like different type of coaching because if you have a different type of coaching, you don't necessarily know how you're gonna react, and that's probably a big reason why you kind of end up at Schoolcraft. Maybe a big reason why you end up at Adrian because they're similar type of coaching that you're so used to, but like just a different type of voice.
Oh, absolutely. That was the main reason I went to Schoolcraft too, was Coach Tobin Jones was just like he fit that mold perfectly the same way Coach Miles does and the same way my dad did of being like that number one supporter, but when you mess up, they're gonna tell you.
Yeah.
And that not every day is gonna be fun, and some days you gotta work a little.
Yeah, and that's just the type of coaching that you're used to, and that's just the type of coaching that get success out of people.
Hmm.
And there's not one necessarily right way of coaching, but like it's obviously gotten you to where you are currently. It's getting you continue to get better. And obviously, I know you still have a little ways to go, Adrian, but how excited are you for the rest of this season? How excited are you to finally get outside in the next month or two, finally get a little bit away from this indoor track season?
I'm really excited. I know we got a lot of young guys coming in who are really fast. We got our distance team is just getting better and better by the day. We know that. And I'm really excited to get back to doing steeplechase. That's the event that I'm really looking forward to because I know that I have a chance to score in conference and I know that I'm ranked pretty high.
Exactly. And speaking of that, what do you want to like achieve? Like, what are some of your goals like for the outdoor season, the rest of the indoor season? Is it performing well at conference? Is it scoring at conference? Is it specific like I want to like reach these times?
I would say it's definitely performing well at conference, and especially for indoor, of just, getting points for the team. I don't really have any time things because of the injuries. I don't really want to worry about that. I just want to worry about
Yeah.
doing the most for my team. But outdoor, I would say steeplechase, getting to the 930, 940 range and getting to fifth in the conference is like my big goal that I want to, I got it on my little like whiteboard in my room of like, this is what I want to do.
And I really do hope you get to achieve that because I know
I
it's
appreciate
something
that.
that you're really passionate about. I know it's something that, like you said, you want to achieve. I know steeplechase is something that you love to do, and hopefully you can do it in your favorite event. I know you're really looking forward to it. I think you're going to be extremely successful, and I think you're really motivated. I think things are going to go really well for you the rest of the indoor season, and I'm excited to see how things go for you for the outdoor season as well.
I appreciate it a lot, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I do want to kind of wrap up with two last kind of questions. When your time is done at Adrian, when you're done running at Adrian, what do you hope to be remembered for? What type of impact has your coaches, your teammates have had on you? And what's something that you just, when you walk away, if you achieve, you'll feel pride for?
Um, I definitely want the mile record here, and that's probably one of my biggest things I want to leave behind. Just kind of get my name on that record board. But I'd say even in a bigger aspect of like, I want to leave Adrian with like knowing that I made the team better and I could have been a good leader. Like
Yeah.
that's my main goal is like be a leader on this team and show everyone what it takes to be a leader in the collegiate level.
Yeah. Love that. I honestly think that's great. I honestly think that you're going to do that. I know you still have a little ways to go. I know you're really excited about that, but I truly hope you're able, at the end of the day, when you do end up wrapping up your career age, I hope that you're able to walk away, feel those things, and kind of feel a little bit of that impact.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So one last question, real quick. After you're done at Adrian, have you thought of future plans? Are you going to continue to run? Are you kind of putting on that back burners a little bit because of how far or how long you've ran for? Is it something that you're extremely excited for? And second part of that last question, if you've had the ability to talk to your younger self when you do end up wrapping up as a college athlete, what is something that you would tell yourself about your college career?
Um, I think the first part, I'm not gonna stop running. I can't. I think it's something that I just can't give up. My main plans are go to half marathons, marathons, and Ironmans. Those are like my big goals. Try to
Love
get
it.
that Ironman. Ironman is something that I really want to do, and then kind of talk to myself in the past. Just enjoy the moments. Enjoy the little moments of like sitting at dinner with your teammates or like sitting before the meet on the van. Just enjoy those little moments of like peace before, stuff starts to get a little bit hectic.
Yeah. Like kind of like take it all in, kind of like realize the
Yeah.
small little things.
Hmm.
Awesome. Well, best of luck for the rest of your career. One thing I always say to anyone that ever joins is if you ever want to come back on, would absolutely love to have you on again. No pressure to do so whatsoever. But best of luck for the rest of indoor season. Best of luck for the outdoor season. And then once you make the transition to outside of college, best of luck for the half marathon, marathon, Ironman as well. If you ever do an Ironman, let me know. Maybe we'll have you back on after an Ironman so we can talk about how insane and how incredible that is. But I know that you're going to be really successful at whatever you do. I know you still have a little ways to go, but really appreciate you joining. Really hope it was worth your time, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And that is a wrap to episode number 545. Thank you again to Ryan for joining, and tune in to the next episode.